We're gonna start with the presentation. You guys have, we have 3 different questions, and we're gonna discuss with our friends here about what we already introduced you about. So our first question goes like, what makes the Southeastern European coffee market unique compared to the rest of Europe? And how do trade and consumption trends differ across the region? Do you want to start, Prunella?
Okay, thank you.
We are very feminist in this forum, Zoran, so we're majority here. So I'm going to give Prunella the head start.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
First of all, thanks for having me here. It's a great pleasure and honor. For me, it's the first time at PRF, so thank you very much. As Gabi was saying, I come from Italy, and Italy is my hometown. It's where we roast the coffee, and we try to do our best to make it specialty. Regarding the trends of consumption of Italians, coffee in their minds, in Italian minds, is a product that has a value in terms of culture, more than quality in the cup. So, one of our biggest challenge is to change a mindset, because to Italians, coffee is cultural. To Italians, coffee is something that is used in order to spend time together. And it's fast. It's consumed majority in espresso. So what makes it very different compared to Northern European countries, for example, is that we don't drink that much of a filter coffee. And it's not as cold as it is in Northern Europe. So we do it fast. And we also do have some other products that we can fall in love with, like cheese and wine. So whenever it comes to very nice quality, as specialty coffee should be, for us as Italians, the biggest challenge is to transfer that kind of culture, because again, it's coffee that puts people together, but that consumption is not ready to understand or know the value that is behind the cup. I know it might seem very tricky to understand, but that's the truth. The majority of people do not understand what is behind the cup. And this is what we would like to do. This is what our biggest challenge is, to try to make people transform a product that is not just social, but is also something else.
Okay. I love that, because culture and coffee are both interrelated in every part of our lives. What about Serbia, Zoran?
What about Serbia? I think regarding what's happening in Italy and how challenges Prunella has, we are I think, in good position. First of all, I would like to thank you, Gabi, for introduction, and Henry and PRF who invite us. It's always a pleasure to come in PRF and see all the new friends and spend a good time in new country. It's my first time in Honduras, and I am really happy to meet this culture and people and have a good time. I would like to start for people who maybe are not familiar, what is Eastern Europe? I think, half of total population of Europe living in Eastern Europe, about 300 million people living on that region. And that region have different taste profile and different culture behavior than other part of Europe. And I think for your people, for your producer from Honduras, it's very important to know that big influence in Eastern Europe was Ottoman Empire, and they brought coffee from Middle East to Turkey, from Turkey to Eastern Europe, and we are very sensitive and very, our taste profile is more oriented to dark chocolate coffee with nuts, with full body, and that's the challenges that we have in Serbia, and we wanna make in specialty business.
Okay. What about what Prunella was saying about Italians? I've been to Italy, and it seems like they just grab the espresso and they're on the move. What about in your case? Is it as quick?
It's a big influence of Italy culture in Serbian coffee culture. So I think in
So
our
it's the same?
95%, not 98% of coffee is espresso-based products.
Wow.
So-
That's very interesting. I didn't know that.
And if you want to make good espresso, an espresso-based product with milk or alternative milk, you need strong body, you need chocolate notes, less floral coffee. So, and everything what we are trying here and cupping has that kind of note. So we need to find some. They need to find if they want to attract this market of 300 million people.
Wow, it's a big market.
To match that taste profile.
Yeah, well, it's very interesting because me being from Honduras, we love coffee too. It's part of our culture, like you guys were mentioning the same. But every culture, it's different and very similar in some other senses. So it's very interesting. I didn't know that about Serbia had so many influence from Italy. So
Influence in espresso, from espresso culture, but the main influence was from Ottoman Empire and Turkish 500 years ago.
what about specialty coffee in this case? You're aiming for that too?
We are one of the first specialty coffee in we opened 11 years ago, first or second specialty coffee in Serbia.
that's your strength.
And now we have 55 stores. So
Wow.
that's answer how people are recognizing specialty. And
It's growing.
it's growing, and I think growing in a good direction.
Okay, that's very nice to know. Thank you for the information, guys. So now, for our next question, it's beyond trade. What cultural and business practices should Latin American producers understand when building long-term relationships with buyers in Southern Eastern Europe? So what should we learn from you in order for us to get better at it? Prunella again, let's get the girl the first.
Okay, if
Do you
it
have
works.
issues with your mic?
Yeah.
You want help?
I think it works.
Okay.
Thank you. I can hold it. Thanks.
If,
Yeah,
I
that's
think
working.
I think we can hear you even if
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
close. Yeah.
What you could learn from me, maybe this is what I can share. Let's
Well,
say.
let's call it that, but it's also learning.
Well, I was saying we are a roastery. We're based in Italy, but we export the majority of the roasted coffee we actually sell. Why? Because as I was saying, Italy is very difficult market for specialty coffee, even though it's growing. So my biggest dream, and we're working hard on that, and I think slowly we're getting better, is to bring awareness to the consumer. So I would like to suggest to try to bring awareness using products in terms of coffee that are specialty, but in an easy way. Because if you have a consumer that does know nothing about specialty coffee and is always being used to drink very bad, burned, super defected coffee, which is the consumer in Italy,
Okay.
it is very hard to bring a person from that stage to a super wow coffee. So my dream would be to have the opportunity to have a coffee that comes from producing countries that is sweet, defected free, consistent in terms of quality over time, and chocolate taste. So very easy in order to show people that coffee can be better without being super wow, super nano-lots micro-infused coffee. That to me, it is a trend that is existing. But as a trend, it might be something that is going to die because it's fashion. So to me, it's important to experiment, but it is important to bring awareness to the consuming countries with consistent, good, fair, ESG-related content products. That would be my biggest dream. And
I'll
yes,
call that go back to the basics, you know?
but in a good way.
In a good way, in a good way. Because what you're saying, all these trends going on, they're like fads. They go on and off. But if you're consistent with the quality, I think that's a great key for success. What about you, Zoran?
You should know about Eastern Europe and cultural and business practices that we are, we are very different in different mentality and different nation, and even we have different administration, different law, different customs and tax. So in Eastern Europe you have some countries like Bulgaria, Romania, or Hungary, they're part of European Union. You have Serbia, Bosnia, Macedonia, they're not part of European Union. On the other hand, you have a very big market like Ukraine, part of the European Russian, they're totally another market. So you need, they need to consider this market like a big opportunity, but every market has a different, to have different approaches to different markets.
Okay, but what would be your advice for our producers or for our exporters in order to get better at opening their market to this Southeastern market? It's a 300 million market, you just said it, which is huge.
It's on a business base, it sounds great when you say 300 million people market, but you know, they should focus and make smaller groups of country and who are in groups by some administration or politics region, like Eastern Europe, European country, Eastern Europe, non-Europe, Balkan country, or Russia and Ukraine.
Okay, that's great advice. Sometimes we don't think outside the box. There's just a big market in Southeastern Europe. It's a big opportunity for us. So I hope our producers and our exporters get all these cues so they can get better at it. So next we have, what are the most effective strategies for Latin American producers looking to establish a strong presence in the Southeastern European coffee market? What common mistakes should they avoid? We start with you again, Prunella.
Okay. Okay. I will not talk about, excuse me, I will not talk about possible mistakes to avoid because I am not capable to do so. I do not operate within a producing country, so I would say something that I'm not facing every day as a situation. But I would like to say two different things. One regarding the market that we are facing right now. And when I say market, I mean sea market situation. And another one that might be beyond the sea market. First, I'll go with the first, which is now we're facing, as you all know, a different kind of situation regarding sea market, which is based on a seller's call. Usually the sea market was based on a buyer's call. I'm not going to say what was right and what was wrong. It's just the way it is now. So we as roasters that try to do specialty are really in need of support right now from the producing countries. What do I mean when I talk about support? I mean really understanding what's going on in terms of your histories, of your added value, of your projects that you might live in, like social project, environment project, because we have to bring to our customers that live on the other side of the world all the value that you really can give to your products. But in order to do so, we need to have tools. And these tools are like videos, pictures, reports, datas. People want to have datas. They don't just want to know that we're trying to do something good because it's something that everybody can say. But they want to know data, especially if they have to pay such a high price. So the consumer finally is the one who drives the market everywhere. If the consumer says that the price is not okay, a product is not going to exist. Or we're all going to start selling commodity coffee until the sea market is going to be low and we're all going to be screwed. So to me, my big request is going to...
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not, but this is going to happen if we don't bring them
It's
the
true.
reason why they should pay more, and if they don't let them understand. And then, just 1 minute more, my biggest dream,
okay.
which is not related to the sea market, would be, well, this is what we've been doing for like more than 20 years, build long-lasting relationship with farmers, mainly with farmers, so with coffee that is traceable to the farm, in order to buy and exchange coffee as a real product, not related to the sea market. I know this is difficult, but that's
Yeah.
my biggest dream. If we all do try to agree with the fact that coffee is real and it's not a financial tool, we could really make the difference in specialty coffee.
I think this forum is actually one basic tool to start this dream of yours, you know, because getting closer to the farmers, to the producers, that's how we start making added value in order for you guys to get our history or part of our story to make it more personal, not just an ocean, like you were saying, a blue ocean,
Yeah.
which is, thank you for the advice. What does Zoran has to say about it?
I would start with mistakes, and after
Okay,
I will give advice.
let's go for the bad first.
For the bad, and for bad we're gonna go
Yeah.
to good. So first and probably the biggest mistake is to assume that Southeastern Europe is one market. It's not, as I explained, and they have to have different approach to different market. And in that approach, they need to think about like Croatia is tourist country with a lot of foreigners. With Serbia is it's a traditional market with different flavor. Bosnia, totally different. Russia, enormously big market. So different approach for different country.
For each country,
for
like
each country.
have a differentiated strategy for each country in order to like not do like one recipe for all, but a different recipe for each
We are
one.
not Central America, we are not US, so we are different approach. How to get that knowledge and that approach? Be present, travel 1 time, 2 times per year, meet local scene, local champions, taste the coffee. If you know, I see that that's the right direction. How you can get know about that market and about that people. Another big mistake, is local custom and administration. So, as we said, every country different approach.
Different strategy.
Farmers and producers, they should have in mind that it's not easy always to sell one container. To have that approach means different than that. 1 pallet, 2 pallets, sometimes it's good. They need to open 1 customer, 1 country, and things will start going.
Okay.
For my country to import or for small Albania, Montenegro, it's not possible to import 1 container of any coffee. So
Okay.
we are very segmented and very small market with so many different producers.
You mean like smaller badges to try different specialties, or
I'm talking about coffee 85 below, or from 80 to 85 score. So when I'm talking with some farmers and some cooperativa, they ask me how many containers you will buy. So
they want to go big or go home?
So let's do it first.
Yeah.
Couple pallets, couple 100 kilos.
Yes.
So
Let's get started.
start it and
Start
big
somewhere.
things will come. Yeah.
That's a good advice. What other advice do you have for our Latin American countries?
We are very, by mentality, we are very similar like South American or Central American people. We are open-minded, and I think we are on the same level of understanding. They will easily find middle language with our nation because we are, I think, culturally very similar.
Okay. Well, you guys, I think we're done with the 3 questions now. If you have anything else that you want to add, like to close it up, it would be appreciated.
I can add, like, just to go back to what I was saying before because I said that very fast. So
Yes,
maybe it
it's
was clear
okay.
my mind with. Regarding the fact that the market is obviously driven by the sea market. Lately has come to my mind that the majority of producers, correct me if I'm wrong, sell at fixed price. If I'm wrong, you say, you're wrong?
I don't know.
It depends on the countries, let's say. It depends on the countries
It depends on the market, I guess.
and on the market. But the consumer, for sure, buys at a fixed price. And all that there is in the middle is just more or less being capable to hedge and to forecast and to do something that, to me, just really puts in between producing and consuming countries a huge distance. So I'm not here saying that we should cut the middlemen, because middlemen are so important to me. So, very important. But I think we can reduce the perception of this distance, starting to think long term in terms of deliveries and pricing. But that's me.
Yes, more
Personal.
proximity.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Prunella. Zoran, anything else you want to add? Just close it up.
What can I add? Nothing really, especially maybe I didn't mention that I'm again in Southeastern Europe. We are talking 12 different languages, so we have that language.
To keep that in mind,
in
the
mind,
language
yeah.
barrier.
And,
Yeah.
and there is a lot of country they are like on the same level like Honduras. Not everybody speaking English, so.
What language will you recommend?
The local ambassador, local partner, local.
Wow, that would be hard.
It's not
We have
easy.
to start looking for translators, but I understand what you're saying. It's easier. If you can't communicate, you can't really start businesses with anyone. So communication is key in every relationship. That's even for relationship advice for human beings. But thank you so much for your input here and for your advice.